All right. I just made sure it was connected to the downstairs Wi-Fi, not the upstairs Wi-Fi. So hopefully this video is coming out good. So got both vehicles here. They're a little bit over the mileage for their oil change. So we're getting that done today. I actually had the 14-year-old, who's turning 15 in a few months. Had her get under here and drain the oil. She couldn't quite do the oil filter, so I had to do it. But I didn't even think of filming that, as I've done to the grown-up daughters. So now I'm just warming it up. Should be about there, I'm sure, to operating temperature, so we can check the fill level. This isn't a how-to video, so whoever found this in the search when this video is archived and gets pissed, you know, that it doesn't show you every step, don't get all pissed and leave me a stupid comment about how worthless the video is, because nowhere in the title does it say that this is a how-to video. It's just like a vlog to my fellow YouTubers and HVAC techs and whatnot of just what I'm up to. So if you want to see the how-to video, I'm going to show you guys the video you need to watch for anything that's Ford related. All right. That's right here. Ford Tech Macaluco. That guy's got awesome videos there. And this is the 2013-2019 Ford Explorer Escape Fusion 6F35 6-speed transmission fluid change procedure. Dude, this dude has it nailed for all the Ford stuff. Now, interestingly, I did a video kind of showing me diagnosing the coolant bypass valve that failed on this car. And I didn't do a complete how to it, but it kind of showed the overall of what I did. And I actually got me several views and comments on that one. And he didn't have one on that channel. I do. He has the actual Ford scanning tool, the professional one. I just use a software called ForScan, which you could get and run on your Windows device or whatever, and plug in with a OBD2. That's pretty awesome. And I could do quite a bit of stuff. See the, you know, codes and change some perimeters and some stuff. Not like what he could do. His stuff does everything. Like it does load balance, you know, trying to find engine misfires and what cylinder and everything. So this guy's got some in-depth stuff. Good advice for Fords. He's the one that advised to stop using the oil that Ford says to use, which I think was 520. He says go to 530. Full synthetic, but this is the wrong one. It's supposed to be the one he recommended, and I didn't realize it until I came home with it today. He says on Ford EcoBoost use the platinum full synthetic. So, whoop, shit, got travel. Or before, that's what my vehicles have had. But that is the 5W30, right? I know in my notes it said 530. Yeah, that's what he said to use. I think 520 is what it calls for. He said to use 530. So that's what I'm using. And then there's the transmission fluid. So his video right there is what you want to watch to see how to do it. And basically this is just like a vlog of my buddies and stuff. And guess what? Jack stands right in the way. So I gotta lift my car up a little bit and move that jack stand. That jack stand's just under here so I don't die. And in his video he shows a procedure about leveling your car perfectly and stuff. I'm doing a little half-assed, but so I'm gonna get this under here, 14mm bolt, about to take out. See if this looks level by the eyeball. Looks like we're good, right? Hey, what's up, Joe? Some good old Merc on it. Hilby, that's right. So let's get this long Chinatero under here. I'm gonna do it live. All right. I'm not going to quite have my daughter do this part. Now this bolt in here, he said the fluid's going to be nice to 200 degrees when you take this out warmed up. So hopefully it doesn't get lost, but it's just got an O-ring on it, so it's like just barely hand tight. He said use like a 1/4-inch ratchet if you have to when you put it in, because it's just a barely snug fit. So what this side bolt is here, I'm taking out, this is the oil fill one. There we go. So once it's warmed up, you're just going to let it trickle out. And then once it gets to just a slow drip, steady drip, that's it. So right now it's just barely over full, I guess. By the way, I'm doing this a little lazy. My vehicle's not perfectly level, but it's very close. My driveway's almost level. Stuff doesn't really roll much here, so if it's an inch lower back there than it is over here, that's going to be across the dimension of that transmission. It's not going to be that much, so I'm not even worrying about it. It'll give me off a quarter of an inch on my level. So, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually probably hook up my funnel. I couldn't find my long funnel. I only could find my little tiny one here. So I cut this old breather tube from the Ford GT. Goes from the hose. Some people might recognize it's half of that. I'm going to put that down in there. So once it gets going a little more, I'm going to probably just go ahead and pour the rest of that in there slowly, which is going to overfill it a little bit more. But change out some of the old fluid. You can't get all the fluid out. So Ford Locomoco channel, he says that's why he says to do this every 30,000 miles, and I've been meaning to do this since this car had about 40,000 miles on it, since I found his video. The car now has like 70,000 miles on it, I think. 73,000. Ford told me when I asked him that this goes over 100,000 miles before you have to touch your transmission, but again, that guy works on Fords a lot and doesn't seem to be full of shit, so he says do not listen. He has a video on this subject. Do not obey the Ford interval on fluid changes, especially like I guess the PTO power takeoff, the all-wheel drive box on the transverse engines that are all-wheel drive. So it has a little takeoff box. I guess it has its own fluid in there, and it's only like a half a quart or something. And he says if you go the long interval, that fluid like just barbecues and then screws that thing up. So to change it also quite often. This one's just front wheel drive. Just front wheel drive. It would be nice. I test drove an all wheel drive one with a 2-liter EcoBoost, where this is the 1.6. That 2-liter EcoBoost has like 240 foot-pounds of torque. This one's like 180. So the 2-liter one with the all-wheel drive took off like a rocket, kind of. You know, if you know how to drive those and you preload those turbos, you could actually kick some ass from a dead stop with these escapes if you get the all-wheel drive one. But this one's pretty okay on acceleration from a dead stop. It likes to spin the wheels and engage the torque management, which doesn't just use the brakes or the traction control. It actually de-throttles it, so it actually kills your acceleration a little too much. So it's not as aggressive on the truck. I think it just uses traction control more than anything, and it kind of accelerates better that way. EcoBoost turbos are just awesome because they give you their torque. They're not high RPM performance turbo engines. They're like immediate, give you the power right now torque engines. So this is a 1.6 liter 4-cylinder, and 4-cylinders are known to be gutless when you get in from a dead stop, and then once they rev high, they're kind of okay. Well, this thing has all its power as soon as it goes from a dead stop. And then about 5,000 RPMs plus, it actually, in perspective to what you had down low, it actually feels kind of wimpy, like it just totally ran out of power. It's just because the turbo's so small, it makes boost really low. I never have put on the tester to see what the boost is on it. I guarantee it's well over 10 PSI. I think someone told me those were like 15. I don't know. But anyway, the turbo probably runs out, plus probably restricts the exhaust flow once you get to the higher RPM, so you don't it's no longer like benefiting, like you would if it was set up for performance with a larger turbo. So, but it's made for torque. Like you can shift early and it just grunts and it's got torque. And the same thing, the twin turbo V6 that's in that, the full boost is like a 2,500 RPMs at full power. I think it's at 2,000 RPMs you have full power on this. Turbo is really small. It's like small. The exhaust is like the size of housing on the outside is like the size of my fist. It's little on these. So 3.5 liter over there, and it's got twin turbo, and it has a little more throughout the RPMs. It's still more of a low end, mid range, torque. So that thing doesn't even need to shift out of overdrive when I'm going up the mountains, up the Flagstaff. It just stays at like 1,900 RPMs and builds boost. If you pass somebody or hit the throttle, it'll downshift. If I tow or something. Anyway, let's see what this says. All right, so it's at that point where you could put the plug in, but let's go ahead and pull this breather thing. This breather thing here's where you fill it. This thing I still had, it was where my funnels go, so it actually works out. It fits perfectly in there. How's the video coming out? Is it okay, guys? Nobody's complaining, so it must be. I had that wedge down there real nice early. If this falls over, it's gonna make a fucking mess. It should start trickling out again. Yep. And I'm just gonna do that again. I'm just gonna pour all this new in there, just so it slowly pushes out more of that old. You can see that this is shiny red. What's coming out of the transmission is not red, it's black. This transmission still shifts fine now. I'm just doing it. And to tell you guys the truth, this half case of fluid right here, I bought that fluid 2 or 3 years ago, and I'm not kidding, to do this, and I'm just now doing it. It's a little bit of a bitch. Just got everything going. Get this screwed up. It's like a breather thing, as well as an oil cap. All right, that's still coming out pretty good. Check the comments on the wait there. Video's okay. All right. Dr. Pepper delicious. Don't tease me about the Dr. Pepper since I've pretty much quit that stuff. Yeah, I'm hardly drinking any Dr. Pepper lately. Joe says he's getting that new 7.3 gas motor in his new server. Dude, that engine's called Godzilla among the performance community. People, as soon as they got that, as soon as they could get their hands on that engine, they were tearing those engines apart to do an inspection, see what they could do with it. And it's got pretty good parts. I guess they're talking it might do 1,000 horse on the stock internals with the supercharger. They're thinking. So, why don't you put the plug in and let it circulate some first? No. I already did that, Joe. So you put 4 1/4 quarts of the fluid in there. After you've drained it, the fill plug is put back in. You put the 4 to 4.5 quarts in it, and you start it and you run it to let it get hot and circulate. That is what I did. The side one is just a level one. So if I pour it in there slowly, it's not coming right out. It's circulating somewhat and then coming out. It's not a direct path. I don't know how well it mixed, before it came out that hole, but it's 2 separate sections of the transmission. So it's not really the drain, it's just the fill level port. So as soon as it goes down to a trickle, like you guys saw earlier, it's just dripping every now and then it's full. And then you just put this plug back in. And it's about there. I'll let it trickle just another couple seconds, and I'll put this plug in there. And it's almost there. So, yeah. Someone said, I know there's another comment. Someone said they were surprised. Oh, yeah, here it is. Joe said, I'm surprised you don't have more issues in those high temperatures. Oh, yeah, well, okay, so this car's a 2014, and like about 2 or 3 years ago, I had to change this tank, and then this fitting also broke when I took it off, so I had to fix it. So, anyway, looks like it needs just a pinch of fluid. It's almost to the minimum. Now it's too hot to put in it, but I had to change that tank, and then that coolant bypass valve that's right there, that got changed. It went bad. It didn't leak. It threw a code. It gets gummed up. And when I took it apart, I made a video on it, so you guys can look for it. It probably could have cleaned out and just worked, like cleaning out those Hoshisaki ice machine water fill valves when the calcium gets in there and it overfills. And you could probably just clean them and put them back together. Probably could have done that in there, but I didn't. I put a new one in it. I'm live on that. My daughter thinks that she's picking.
No, it's not a Miata. It's not a Miata.
What is
it's
it?
A Mustang.
Oh, now you're looking at Mustang? Yeah, we're getting on a 14-year-old turning 15 has already got her hooks in what she thinks she's getting for her car. She thinks it's going to be a Miata, an X5, which, okay, a couple years ago, my wife got hit by a semi hit and run, and the back truck, the guy, I guess, went around her to turn left, and she's waiting to turn right on a busy road, and he said, fuck it, and turns right instead. From the middle lane, forgot she was there, and took out the side of the car. The rim from the back wheel was going shh, put a nice perfect circle into the door, the old door, busted out the window, ripped the mirror off, cracked all this, and it put a
crease right about here, so they welded in a new support piece. Fucker took off. So the car drove home perfectly fine. I took it home, and then the Ford place fixed it. But anyway, imagine you're in a Miata and a fucker did that. Turn that corner, the top of that fucking Miata is like this high if you have a top on it. Dude, when he turned the truck, the semi-trailer would have went over the top of the car, and then the wheels probably would have drove up the back of it. Yeah. So daughter thinks that needs to be her first car. Miata that you're going to die in. And what does your mom say about it? I wouldn't mind dying in it. She keeps saying, whatever, you have to die. What was she saying? It's extreme, and saying all this stupid shit like, you know, that's a good way to go out and shit. I'm like, no, what if you don't go out? What if you just, you know, says makes you don't fucking cost this damn thing. It's hard to get it started. But I'm like, you know, what if you just get fucked up? You know? Then paralyzed or skull smashed or whatever. So this is like the smallest, with all the SUVs everybody drives and trucks, this is probably the smallest vehicle you should let your kid drive anymore. You know, not a fucking Honda. Definitely not a Miata MX-5, which is what she thinks she needs. So anyway, she's pushing it. Her manipulation on me right now is that we need to get it now, so we can work on it over the next year before she starts driving. I just almost tighten that a little harder than that guy was saying to do. I put a little bit of effort into that, even though I had it choked up way up here. I have it twisted pretty hard. Don't want to break that bolt, I guess. Good old carb clean. Even cleans Goodman's. Imagine using that cleaning Goodman coil. Anyway, yeah, so she's already looking at her car. Trying to. That's why dash cams are important. And I didn't have one in there. I wish I did. I still don't have one in there. Need to get another one. I just bought a second one, just like the one in my truck. Put it in my work truck, company truck. Because the one failed finally that I had in there for almost 4 years. So, yeah, 3-4 years sitting in that hot sun, and it finally died. I can't complain. It was like a $35 one, $40 one. One of those mirror ones that you strap on. So, I got one like that now. It doesn't have the remote plug-in rear camera. It has the one that looks at you inside the cab. So it's not going to pick up the traffic behind me as well. But anyway, better formats, MPEG 4, not AVI. So that's good. So, anyway, I can probably turn this fucker off now. You can see it's not ticking or anything, but when it's cold, this thing ticks from an exhaust leak and broken exhaust manifold bolt. So I still need to do it, but my brother-in-law, the deal is we worked on his truck a couple weekends ago, so he's supposed to help me. And now that I wear progressive glasses and stuff, it's harder for me to see up close. I'd like to have the second set of eyes, and one on top, one down below, but he's got to help me so we can get the exhaust manifold loose on this, change that broken manifold bolt and put the new gasket in there. It just ticks when it's cold, and then it doesn't tick after that. So let's keep this official Ford transmission fluid filler thing down there with all that other stuff. But yeah. But when you take it looks like you can't get to the back of the engine, but when you take this, you gotta take the windshield wipers off, and then your clips off, take that plastic out that's all cracked now, and then a couple 10mm bolts, that whole cowl section comes off, and then it's opened up back here, and then you can actually see down there, and you take that plastic off. It's not as bad as it looks, but I do like cars that have the intake back there and exhaust up there, fortunately, which is most of the racers, like Hondas and shit. So Dodge has the engine exhaust up here front too, but Ford puts the freaking exhaust back there like a stupid Mitsubishi. I hate that. So can't really reach that kind of stuff. Anyway, that one's done now pretty much. Been meaning to do that transmission fluid. And then in a second, gotta get under this one and change it. Oh, this has a metal skid plate with a little hole to get to the oil filter, I think it is, but I think I might have to drop the whole plate. I can't remember. I've only changed the oil once on this, and I've had it for a year. I think it was once. I don't know. I'm saving the note in my Microsoft OneNote. Let's tell it for a reminder of when I did it. We need a toolbox tour. Well, I'm getting ready to kill the video in a second, but The toolboxes are a mess in here. So this is the newest one, and I got this just for the to extend to have a wood. When I was remember the house flooded, so everything got gutted and rebuilt, like all the sheetrock's new, everything. So I threw out the homemade benches that I had in here, and I kept that we had, and then I bought this for whatever it was at Harbor Freight. So it's not actually filled up yet. It's just got some stuff thrown in there. And I just got some screwdrivers, but I'm doing my electronics right here. So that's it. I took this off of there because that was, and put that on there. Now I need to buy another one of those for this. This thing vibrates all over the place, and it's scratching up this freaking top, so that sucks. So that's the newest one. I bought this off Craigslist for like $90, and it's a solid. It has steel roller wheels, and only has the cross back there instead of here, so feet don't hit. I am in the process. I got to get some strips to make this look decent, but that wooden wannabe computer desk that's over there, that was the grandma's. I'm supposed to throw it out, but I haven't yet because it's actually been convenient in here. I took these off of that. So look at that. Nice. So I had the keyboard up here, not enough room. I go, man, I want a keyboard underneath here. So that's what I did. And then I kind of got some stuff right here. I could just tuck it out of the way. Yeah, this even opens and does this. So it was off that desk. So anyway, I just got to get some laminate, put it on here. These 3 pieces. I think I'm gonna have to cut this one back a little bit to get it flush with the laminate, but it'll look cool when I do that. But it's for work, it's not really looks. So that's that. This storage thing was in my house when I got it, and that's the old heat pump I was using to heat the water. I just haven't been able to take it out of here yet. I kind of miss having the cold air blow on me now. But I'm gonna put a mini split up here, blowing right on me pretty soon. Hopefully. So tools, old HVAC tools up there, stashed over in that thing. It's a mess. VFD drives, electronics shoved everywhere in this thing. This was my wife had this for the homeschool room, and then took it out of there, so it became my storage. Most of it's pretty empty. DigiKey stuff, parts. It's my friend's electric bike. I just have cables, all sorts of electronics. Look at these Windows phones. Look how big that fucker was for back like almost 10 years ago. Was 10 years ago. Heat sinks, electronics. Some of these are still empty though, so I just need to organize it. The stuff up there is just the stuff we don't get to all the time. I kept adding shelves. Stuff I get given to me for free or whatever, I don't take it back. And then this is one of my original tool things. But then I got this for free for a trade for an amp and speaker. He gave me several toolboxes. And this one, it's old. It's an old Craftsman. So just all like the odds and ends, and then I put like was organized. I got it's not all in one spot. Craftsman. It's just, but it's where I know everything is. Centrals and hammers down there. So, and then of course, a lot of my tools are where? They're in the service truck. DeWalt, set, all that stuff. DeWalt air compressor to replace my old Canfield Hoffman, which actually I thought the motor threw out sparks, and once I got into it, I said, fuck it, it's 25, 30 years old, I'm going to replace it. And when I did replace it and pulled it out of the wall, I found that it was just a conduit rubbed against the belt where I couldn't see it. And it sparked from there, so it was actually still good, but I junked it anyway. I love belt drive because they're not as loud as those pancake rotary or what do you call them, diaphragm ones they have now. Rotary be not bad, but those diaphragm fucking direct drive ones suck ass. I will not put one in there. So anyway, you guys already know I have the plasma cutter and wire feed with gas and everything. I always have to make sure I turn the gas back off. Oh, it wasn't. Oh no. I wish it had any in it. Oh, it's not plasma. I hope it didn't run out all that argon again. Might be CO2 because it's cheaper. Can't remember. Anyway, now I'm curious if I ran out see if it goes. I touch the trigger. Okay, it still had pressure. But I did leave that valve open for a long time, and it did leak out. So yeah, and this was where I was starting to fabricate my DC regulator for the solar project, and then I couldn't find the cover, and after I got it and put it in that other box, and this one had way more room, guess what? I found the cover. It's in the side yard. So I have so many projects, you guys know, that I start and just keep tinkering on, then I set it here, and then I work on another one, set it there. This is the latest thing I just got. It seems to work, but I already showed it you in a video. The display doesn't go on, but the output seems to work. I have to connect it to a car battery or something big so I can actually see if it puts out 1,000 watts. But these are supposed to be 1,000 watts continuous. It does say 8.3 amp at 115 continuous and 97 amps continuous at 12 volts input. So that should be a big bad mambo jambo. So yep. Oh, and my TV that I had for free hanging up there, the Mitsubishi with the built-in soundbar. I don't know how old this thing is, but it has speakers all the way down the front of that. Had great picture. It's really heavy, like they put lead in it. That didn't turn on this morning. The LED was just flashing. So it could just be dry capacitors like TVs happen, and you get lucky and could fix it. But I don't know. I've had this TV, a cheap Element TV from Walmart. It's been sitting up there because nobody really wanted to use it. It's smaller. I got to mount it, but I might actually just use it because that one was almost too big for how close I was sitting, and I was looking up real high. So I might actually just use this one and not fix that other one. Ooh, I do see that the picture at 1080 doesn't go outside all the way, and it probably doesn't have an adjustment. Might have some scan adjustment in the computer. I don't know. The graphics card fried a couple years ago, and I'm actually still getting dual screen with the built-in graphics on that old gaming motherboard that's 10 years old. So I'm not playing games on it, and I just need it for graphics, so it works. Fuck it. Yeah, that's what these guys say. Toolbox tours we just did. How much coffee did I drink? I have never drinking a cup of coffee in my life, but I'm rambling. It's the Dr. Pepper, but I haven't had any of that today. I've been having one a day at the most, but now my new habit is this. There's a case set up here. Put a little more in my cooler that something exploded in. Yeah. So there's actually some water in there. I probably should drink a little bit of that. That's what got me sick right after the COVID was being dehydrated, or through the 2 weeks I had to stay home from COVID. Yep. Anyway, I got to change the oil on the other vehicle now and get this one put back together. So Diet Red Bull, no, this is 0 calorie Monster though. Probably similar. 10 calories or something like that. 10 calories. Not a whole lot of sugar. It does have the cancer-causing fake sugar in there, I'm sure. So, but it does taste good. It doesn't have a bad aftertaste like some diet drinks do. So. I gotta. Oh, before I go, I'll show you guys what we're probably got going on. I'm gonna have to clear out this garage to park a vehicle in here soon. We're gonna get a side-by-side. And the one thing that prompted us to get one, because we haven't had ATVs in a while, is because the brother-in-law and the family on that side of the family is renting a house in a couple months way up by Sholo, Arizona, where it's cool. And he's got a side-by-side. He's got a Polaris. So we were going to rent one, but by the time you rent one, you're going to be $1,000 into it. But we like going off-road, but I don't want to really tear up the truck going on these way back into the trails. So we've been talking about a side-by-side. So we were looking at the regular ones, but then we kind of got looking in there, and then you kind of see the fancy racing ones with the suspension. And I'm like, well, I like to go up in the mountains, and these 2-cylinder engines, how much power are they going to have when you lose all that oxygen up there at 7,000 foot? So looked at the turbo one. So right now we're in line to get a turbo. It's called a Velocity Turbo S4 for the 4-seater. It's supposed to be 168 horsepower out of that 2-cylinder versus like 80 horsepower out of all those side-by-sides that don't have a turbo. And that would maintain the thing here of every vehicle having a turbo on it in my house, except for the electric car over there. Oh, and my work truck, but that's not mine. So today I bought this because we're going to borrow the brother-in-law's side-by-side, which is like the same thing but not a turbo, to make sure our handicapped daughter with palsy doesn't freak out. So far she loves going off-road with me, but in a truck you don't have that visual like you do when you're sitting in a small, ATV or a UTV as they call it. So I'm thinking she'll be okay, because she's kind of psycho these days, listening to all that devil music and stuff. So but I went ahead and bought this for cash today for $3,500. And trailers, it's a seller's market. They're all expensive right now. And then we went to the dealership yesterday where the quads, or we're gonna get the side-by-side, and they brought out a paper, and that kind of made us mad, because when we went there a couple of weeks ago, we put like a down payment to hold us in line for the next vehicle, because they're selling them faster than they get them. He said, oh yeah, and he told us a price for 16-foot one, and he said like $2,900 or something. I go, oh, that's the same price they have at a Deer Valley trailer. He goes, oh, that's where we get them from. It's like, oh, that's weird. You guys must be just reselling them at cost, or they're giving you a little bit of deal or something. So we went in there to go ahead and get that yesterday, maybe. And then the guy comes out there with a quote, $6,000, like $6,500, and they had like a $599 roadside assistance in there, dude. They didn't even ask you. I go, yeah, that would be coming out. Like, I can't change my own freaking tire. What the fuck? So I'm like, no. And we're like, that is insane. In fact, it's so insane that it almost, because the Polaris, they have at the price of what the suggested price is on the Polaris site. So we're not like concerned about them raping us, we know you're going to get raped buying anything there. But when I knew that they were doubling the price of the trailer, that's just a convenience thing for you to get their vehicle. It's like, what the hell? So I don't know. Maybe that was the price of the trailer with the thing. Those guys couldn't give us a clear answer yesterday. It sounded like they were just trying to make a huge commish. So I was like, fuck. We were going to go to Deer Valley Trailer, but this is an 18-footer, probably a little more heavy duty. Had a 2 5/16 ball, so I had to get one of those today. So we're going to tow the brother-in-law's UTV out to the desert tomorrow, I think, for a couple hours. I can't go far because I'm on call. Anyway. Well, you'd have to live in Arizona probably for that at first. I don't know if you do, but you know me, I'm just all over the place. When I do something, it's like on a whim. But we'll probably be getting into the off-road thing here pretty soon. And of course, I'll bring some of my guns to go shooting whenever we do that. So anyway, when I put that behind this truck, I couldn't even feel that thing. Like, it seriously did not feel it moving. Didn't feel it when I accelerated. Didn't feel it when I braked. Nothing. But now, I towed a heavy U-Haul trailer with the cruise on it a couple weeks ago, and I did feel that behind this truck. So I know I'm going to feel the 3,000-pound Razor when I put that on it. But that way that trailer was now, I did not feel it at all. It does not have electric brakes, so we'll see how it feels. If it gets kind of funky, braking and stuff, especially on the curves when we're in the mountains, I might have to see about adding electric brakes, and that'll be yet another project. But yeah, John, everything's a seller's market. Our house, like, appraised for way more than what we owe in it, and so we're refinancing, and that's how we're actually going to pull out some money to get that vehicle. You see how my phone just chimed, and then the phone chimed? Well, the notification went away. You could sync your Samsung phones with Windows, in case you guys don't know that. And you can text people back and forth right there. You can bring up the My Phone app, or I could text her right here. She's sending me a link to offer up. I can reply to her right here on my computer. The computers I have synced to it. And then so I just click on that. Okay, it's opening. Show me how. Oh, yeah, you can drag and drop files too. I could go boop and drag it here, and it'll send it to my phone. So my daughter's sending me a link. She texted my phone, and it's coming on here. 2004 Mustang, 206,000 miles in it. Better not be a freaking GT with a V8 for a freaking 16-year-old. I'm sure it's not. It's going to be a dime a dozen V6. But you guys heard her when she came out here. The wife's like, why don't you get a Mustang? Oh, shit. Doesn't say GT, but look, rear-wheel drive, 8-cylinder. Of course, half these people don't know what they got under the hood, and it's probably a V6. Looks not too old. What would that be? Maybe a 4-liter V6, if they had those by then instead of 3.8. Now she's sending me 1994 Mustang. I am freaking busy, and I'm on a live stream, child. Me busy. You come help. She's supposed to be out here learning before she gets a vehicle. And here she is back in there. Oh, she's looking at the style I had. She's dreaming. Remember, my other daughter had to drive that 170,000 miles, 3.8. Remember, those 4.6s lasted like forever. Anyway, got all my private information up on there, so I shouldn't be showing. Choir boys only use iPhones. I have an iPhone on me too for my work. It sucks. Oh, I just tested the outer box. That was an accident. If anybody from work's watching, I dropped that phone on accident. Maybe it won't work because I'm on call right now. Yeah. Half the time, the dispatch accidentally just puts in my personal number when she forwards the phone. I assume she forwarded it right because I go on call Wednesday and today's Saturday and I haven't gotten a phone call yet. So if it was residential, you're getting tons of that. But most of the time on commercial, I only get the ones for the surgery centers and stuff like that over the weekend. Or somebody's office, that they can't just have it, warm. So anyway. Yep. Oh, it ain't running right now, but, or is it? My neighbor's heat pump was running a little bit ago. I could only hear it because I was walking on the trailer here. It's not running right now, but he's got that Ameristar over there, which is American Standard. Barely hear it. It's like nothing compared to the Goodman unit. So he got a nice upgrade, even though it's the entry-level unit for that brand, Ameristar, Train, American Standard. But it's still a huge upgrade over the Goodman turd. So, yeah. Anyway, Chinese. Surprised you get a Chinese Ameristar. Yeah, so it actually sounds good. This is a basic unit. I was going to install one somewhere. I can't remember if I did or didn't once, but anyway, I was looking into them. But what a mess over there. I did buy a new, I just got another switch. I got to hook up. So I got all those long cables and all those other cameras. I got to hook cameras up. Uh-oh, there's the other child. Anyway, I got to hook up some more security cameras. I got derelicts out there. The cops actually came to our house last week. Thought maybe one of my cameras saw somebody. A cop got shot down the street, and they think the suspect ran this way. So I downloaded the video onto a file on the time frame he said, and put it on my OneDrive and shared it. I skimmed through the video, but I didn't watch the 2-hour video. I just skimmed through and usually could see someone run by. I didn't see anybody, so probably didn't get what they were looking for, but it's kind of interesting that they saw that I had cameras and knocked on our door to see if we could look. So we looked. So, well, that was talking about the cop getting shot down the street, but I guess shooting. But I have more cameras, so I'll probably put another one up. It saves like 2 weeks worth of video. It'll be a little less when I add more cameras, but put another one up that just sees the street, just for an archive like that. And then want to get another one looking over at the park because these people jump the fence. And one kind of starts at it's up there so that my palm tree blocks where they climb the fence, but I see them walking this way. So I'm going to put up another one that does look that way. I might, if I could get one with a zoom lens, I might just zoom it over there. I don't know yet. Crazy stuff I talk about and I start doing and don't finish forever. So anyway, speaking of that, I got to finish the oil changes. I've been on this for probably 40 minutes. It's supposed to be a 5-minute video. What's up, video? Pointing to the street. So I have 9 cameras right now. That one up there, motion. I have it programmed for the motion over here. So when she comes in here and she's underneath that point of view, she doesn't set off the sensor all day long. Because why do you come out to the garage when I'm not home? What are you doing?
Use it.
How do you do that?
Alexa.
All right, don't talk to her right now. But yeah, she talks to the Alexa device. And anyway, so yep. So I'm going to go. Alexa, continue music. Alexa?
Alexa, why are you so stupid?
Sorry. This might not be what you want to hear, but I'm just not sure what I did wrong.
Oh, you're a whore. That's what you did wrong.
Alexa,
Nope.
you're a hoe.
Okay. Alexa, continue music.
Alexa.
Good 80s rock.
What in the world was that with your legs? I didn't know you could dance like that. Where'd you get that from? What in the world? Wait,
She hates the
like the
80s
video
rock.
on your knees, that's funny.
No.
Why do you dance like that?
Oh not. All right, I gotta go for that copyrights me. Catch you guys later, man.
Alexa!
Don't change it. Nope.